Pause the video, try the question, and we'll see how to solve. Okay, for questions like this, I would recommend you to try writing a template, especially if you're struggling with probability or if you're very new to probability, then writing a template before attacking the numbers is going to be very helpful. And I'll teach you how to do that. You see this? Two people are participating in this question, as in two people are there in this question. So let's take those two people to be A and B, right? And the probability of catching a person is given. The question is asking about what is the probability only one of them is caught. If only one of them should be caught, as in if A is caught, B is not caught. Or let's write like this: if A is caught and B is not caught, or if A is not caught and B is caught. This I would like to call a template. Once you have this, you will have a clear understanding of what numbers am I supposed to take, right? Now we want only one person to be caught, as in A is there, B is not caught, or maybe A is not caught and B is caught, right? Now let's work with the numbers, as in if A is here, B is here. Let's talk about what happens if they're caught and what happens if they are not caught. The question is given the probability of catching the first person is 1 by 4. Let's say the first person is A. The probability of catching is 1 by 4. Not catching is going to be 1 minus 1 by 4 because the overall probability is 1. If one time out of 4 times he or she is caught, which means the remaining 3 times out of 4 times he or she is not caught. Similarly, the probability of catching the second person B in this case, probability of catching is 1 by 6. Probability of not catching is going to be 1 minus 1 by 6. As in, out of 6 times, the probability of catching B is once, which means not catching is the remaining number of times, that is 5 times out of 6 times. So these are the numbers we have, right? Also, another thing that you need to know when you're solving permutations or probability is whenever it is and, it's mandatory, means it's multiplication. Whenever it is or, it's optional, which means it's plus, right? So we need to know that to substitute the appropriate operator in the template that we have written. Now we'll see. The probability of A getting caught is 1 by 4. So let's write that as 1 by 4. And we know and is multiplication. Probability of B not getting caught is 5 by 6. 5 times out of 6 times B is not caught. Or as in plus. So let's take this entire thing in a bracket. And probability of A not getting caught is 3 times out of 4 times. And as in multiplication, and probability of B getting caught is 1 time out of 6 times. You see, now what numbers to put where, it's very easy. Now from here on it's just a matter of calculation. So let's multiply this and take it as 5 by 24 plus this is 3 by 24, which is 8 by 24 or 1 by 3. That's your final answer. Now I'll give you another question in the same lines. Try this, pause the video, try this, check if you're able to apply the template and the numbers. Okay, if you got 7 by 20 or 35% as your answer, then it's absolutely correct. So let's see how to handle this. Remember I was talking about the template. If you're very new and if you're struggling, I really want you to take some time to get the template first, and then you can work with numbers, right? Let's say if you're very new to this question and you did not understand what to do, look at the word contradict. The word contradict is opposite, right? So let's start from there. Opposite. We want A and B to be opposite in terms of speaking truth and lying. We want it to be opposite. So if they have to contradict each other, which means they should not be same, they should not be, both of them should not be speaking truth, or both of them should not lie, right? We want them to be opposite. So one way I can get the template is, let's say if A is speaking truth and B is speaking false, that is opposite. Or maybe A is speaking false and B is speaking truth, right? So these are the two ways in which they can contradict each other. Now for the numbers, let's see what happens here. We have A and B, and we have speaking truth situation and lying situation, speaking false, right? So if A is speaking truth for 75% cases, now in the previous question, we know how to handle fractions. So let's take 75% as 3 by 4. Let's write that 75%, I'm taking it as 75 by 100. So that's 3 times out of 4 times A is speaking truth, which means 1 minus 3 by 4, the remaining 1 time A is lying. So 1 out of 4 times A is lying. Similarly, B is speaking truth for 80% cases. 80% we can write it as 4 by 5, 80 by 100. So 4 times out of 5 times B is speaking truth. The remaining 1 time, as in out of a total probability of 1 minus 4 by 5 times if we speak in truth, the remaining 1 time out of 5 times B is lying. Now again, not just in the previous question, all throughout probability and permutations and combinations, you need to know that AND means multiplication and OR means addition. So now it's just a matter of substituting the numbers in the template that we have written. That is, A is speaking truth as in 3 times out of 4 times, and is multiplication. B speaking false is 1 time out of 5 times. That is one situation where they can contradict each other. Or is a plus. And another situation where they can contradict each other is if A is lying 1 out of 4 times and is multiplication, and B is speaking truth 4 out of 5 times. So now it's just a matter of calculation. Let's take it as 3 by 20 plus this is 4 by 20. Together this is 7 by 20. Most often your options could be in fractions, so this should be enough. But sometimes they could give you an option in percentages because the question is in percentages. Then multiply this with 100. This is going to be 20 into 5 will give you 100. 5 into 7, that's 35%.